What's up, everybody? I am just about to go outside to go stand up paddleboarding, and I thought I would share my morning mobility routine with you. I'm going to go over that now. So we're going to start on the ground. If this is too much for your knees, you can always sit down on a pillow or a block right underneath your thighs there. You can also sit in a chair or you can stand for the upper body portion. All right, so what we're going to do is squeeze our fists, keep our whole body nice and tight. We're going to use about 30% intensity. And what we're going to do is start with our neck and work our way down. So we're going to start with our neck. Now, remember, you've been sleeping or you've been just sitting for a while. It's really important to get all the joints moving in their full range of motion, especially after you just wake up. It's a good way to self-assess each joint. So we're going to start with the neck, squeeze the fists, flex down, rotate, ear to shoulder, so bend into that side, look back, draw a circle with your chin, look over your other shoulder, bend into that shoulder, and look down. One more rotation. Bend, extension, bend, rotation, other way. 2 times, other way. Rotate, bend, extend, bend, rotate. 1 more. And you can play around with that by going over it 1 more time each direction. Okay, now for instance, if you had a pinch when you went to this side, that means you want to, 1, go around that issue just a little bit. Don't go into the pain. You're going to create more inflammation. So go slowly around that area and just slowly work around that area until you get that full range back. Now we're going to get the scapula and shoulders. For the scapula, what we're going to do is bring the hands out front and then bring them out about 10 degrees. Cross the hand, across the waist. Going to protract, retract, and depress. Now focus on that circle, just like that. You can squeeze the fist. We're trying to keep the elbow straight and the wrist straight. Just controlling using the scapula. Try not to jet the head forward. Try not to move the shoulders or the hips. Just the scapula. Okay, switch side. So I feel a little bit more, I guess you could say, pain or tightness on this left side. So it's something that I want to focus on probably more today is more of these scapular cars, especially on this left shoulder. Okay, so after you've done both scapula, we'll get the shoulder. We'll do this kneeling, half kneeling. Step the right foot forward. So we'll bring the left foot forward, right hand forward. Left fist forward here, just squeezing, flexion. Then from here, palm turns out, reach back. And so the back of the hand touches the side of the body at the end. Extend, externally rotate, flex, reach forward and down. 1 more time. Flex, internally rotate, extend, externally rotate, flex forward. Switch side. Left arm forward and up, flex. Palm faces out or internally rotate the shoulder. Make sure you start the shoulder, not just the wrist. Back of the hand touches the side. Extension, external rotation, flexion, forward and down. 1 more. Same thing for me on that left side, a little more neurological tension, less control, and less range of motion. Now we're going to get our thoracic spine and our mid to low back. So we can do this standing or kneeling. I'm going to cross my hands across the chest. Do this facing this way so you can see this angle. From here, we're going to flex down. Notice that just my upper back is flexing down. I'm not going like this. Okay, so that would involve my lower back, right? And the lower back would be involved. So we're just going for the upper back. So flex down, rotate, shoulder dips to the side, extend, dip, rotate, flex forward. Just follow that circle. And then we'll start and we'll go the other way. Flex down, rotate the other way, bend, extend. Rotate and bend, flex forward, down, and around. So that would be the thoracic spine. Now we're going to get the whole back here. So we'll get into our quadruped or hands and knees position. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, feet in line with the knees and the hands. All 10 fingers spread apart. From here, what we're going to do is have a neutral back. And then we're going to slowly go into an anterior pelvic tilt. Mid-back, chest goes down, and head's going to go up. You're going to retract the shoulders here, retract the scapula. So this would be protraction, this would be retraction. Head is up, head is extended, back is extended. Anterior pelvic tilt. From here, we're going to start with our sacrum and coccyx, our coccyx sacrum. L5 all the way, L1, all the way to your T-spine, to your cervical spine, to your head and neck. And then other way, starting with the back, coccyx, sacrum, lower lumbar, thoracic, cervical. And let's go the other way, head and neck, protract the shoulders, mid-back, low back, hips go under. Okay, let's try the same thing, starting with the head and neck come up, retract the scapula, mid-back, low back, hips. We'll go one way, the other way, starting with the hips here, coccyx, sacrum, low back, mid-back, upper back, head and neck. All right, you can also do that same thing with your legs spread out like a frog position, like this. All right, and this will make sure that you're not using your upper back, so we're just going to focus on the low back here. We're going to bring the hips down, anterior pelvic tilt, and then posterior pelvic tilt. So we're just focusing on the lower lumbar here. Also feeling this in the hips. So anterior pelvic tilt, butt goes up to the air, tuck the hips under, there's your posterior pelvic tilt. So hip hinge, anterior pelvic tilt, hip tuck, posterior pelvic tilt. All right. Now we're going to get our elbows and our hands. We're going to supinate and extend the elbows. Then we're going to pretend that there is very thick air. So when we go up, pushing through air. And when we do this, while we're doing this, we're going to keep supinating. Okay, now if I were to pronate or go this way, supinate would go the other way. So bring my thumbs back. So supinate, flex. Pronate, squeeze the biceps, extend. Supinate, flex, pronate, extend. Supinate, flex, pronate, extend. Now we're going to try that with our shoulders abducted. Supinate, flex, pronate, try to keep those wrists straight, extend. It always helps if you have a mirror. Supinate, flex, pronate, extend. Now while we're here, we're going to go into internal shoulder rotation, so the back of the hands are facing forward. We're going to squeeze the fists. We're going to keep internally rotating. So even though we're not going to go that much further, we're going to actively go into internal rotation here. You're going to feel a stretch in the front of the shoulders, trying to keep those hands up as high as you can. If you need to bring them lower, if there's too much pain here, then just bring them lower. So never go into a position of pain. Try to go right before the pain or right underneath the pain. So if the pain's here, go here. Pain's here, go here. All right, so we'll hold here, internal rotation. Let's go into external rotation. So this is called the shoulder axial rotation. Axial rotations can occur at the hip and at the shoulder. Okay, so this would be external shoulder axial rotation. This would be internal shoulder axial rotation. And you just go into the end range, holding, isometrically contracting in that end range, and you feel a great stretch. And other way. Now, while we're here in external rotation, squeeze the fists, squeeze the biceps, squeeze the forearms. Now, I want you to flex as hard as you can and keep those hands behind the body. Flex as hard as you can. Pronate and then extend. Extend the fingers into internal rotation. Hold here. Now, from here, hold out here. You're going to bring the back of the hands behind the back, okay? Just like this. So we're going to rest the back of the hands on the lower back. You can sit up for this. I'll show you from the side of the back here. From here, we're going to relax. Take an inhale. Solidify. Try to hover the back of the hands away from the lower back. Hold here. Elbow hinge. External rotation. See how my head's jetting forward? I want to bring that head over the neck. External rotation all the way to flexion into a capital A. And then bring the hands, or a Y, sorry, and then bring the hands behind the head. So that would be our swimmer hover. We'll do that again. Start from hands behind the head. Hover away from the head. Fingers and wrists are straight. Extend into a Y, internally rotate, extend, and then elbow hinge, back of the hands, relax behind the back. Inhale, solidify, hands hover away from the lower back, elbow hinge, external rotation, flexion, make a Y, and then bring the hands behind the head. Okay, so that's called the swimmer hover. You can also do that on your stomach. It'll look like this. This is great shoulder mobility. So same thing, hands on the head. Notice I'm tucking my pelvis or posterior pelvic tilt. Dorsiflex, squeeze the quads. Everything's nice and tight. Inhale, radiate. So same thing, a little bit harder on the stomach. Relax, inhale, radiate, hover. Elbow hinge, externally rotate, flexion, A, hands behind the head. Okay, so that would be some ways to get your glenohumeral joint as well. All right, now for your wrists. Now, I like to get into like a combat stance like this, because now I'm going to be stretching my calf, but I'm also going to get my wrist here. So what I'm going to do is just go from radial, radial to ulnar deviation, ulnar deviation to radial deviation. Okay, ulnar going down, radial going up here, and down. And then from here, palm face up, extend the wrist, and then big circle here with the wrist. You're drawing a circle with the middle finger, trying to extend and go all the way around, and then go the other way 2 times. Now, the reason why I'm pressing my forearm onto my knee is so nothing moves but my wrist. When you do this, you'll see what I mean. We're naturally creating more radiation in these positions as opposed to just standing up and going like this. So that's another reason why I like to do a lot of these things on the ground. So same thing other side. Radial and ulnar deviation here. Ulnar is going this way, radial is going this way. All right, now we're going to extend the wrist, full wrist circle. Really pressing that forearm into the thigh as you do this. Hardest thing is keeping the fingers straight. Go through a full range of motion of the wrists, exploring the furthest portion of that circle, and make sure you go both ways at least 2 times each way. All right, so that would be the wrists. Then you can also go right after, hands out front, do it at the same time, just like this. Okay, now also for the wrists, you can do what's called pals and rails. So you can do that one hand at a time, and I'll do it just like this. I'm gonna extend the wrist just like this, passively stretch for 2 minutes. You can pause it right now if you want, and then I'll just demonstrate what we would do from it thereafter. We would start pressing the tops of the fingers in front of the fingers and palm into the ground from 0 to 100%. After 100%, we would go the other way in a regressive angular isometric load, trying to pull the fingers off the ground. Now, if you can do that from right here, that's good, but most people are going to have to lean forward when they do that. Then after that, go back to your passive stretch. Now, the thing is with your wrist is that, you can tell someone to stretch their wrists out and they can get injured right away if they have really weak wrists. So make sure that you take your time on this. You progressively ramp up the pressure, maybe go from 0 to 30% at first, then 0 to 60, then maybe 0 to 100. So for the pals and rails contractions, or when you're contracting, say, the hand into the ground for pals and rails, don't go into pain, just go into a good amount of pressure. Here's your regressive angular isometric load. You can use this as just an active stretch. So you could go from here, lift off, and just go back and forth a couple of times. Or like I said, you can do the pals and rails. Pals, press into the ground, rails, lift off. That's after your passive stretch and your pals for 0 to 100%. All right, so let's go ahead and get the hips, lower body. And we're going to bring the hands over the shoulders, knees behind the hands, and knees in line with the feet. From here, I'm not going to move my upper body or my hands or arms. I'm just going to bring my knee toward my armpit or elbow. I'm going to open it out as high as I can, internally rotate all the way to extension, all the way back to start, and then forward, out, back, keep that foot up, and forward. Let's go the other way. Extension, out, forward, and down, back, out. Keep that knee high, forward, and down. All right, let's do the other side. This is your knee car, knee controlled articular rotation. Go into flexion, external rotation, internal rotation here. Sorry, abduction, and then extension. Forward, out, turn it out, back, and square one, back, out, forward and down, back, out, forward and down. Woo! Back to your hands and knees. So those are tough. You can also do your hip cars in the sideline position. Bring your knees at a 90 degree. Hands out front. You can hold onto a kettlebell. And then from here, abduct and externally rotate. Internally rotate here into extension. and then come all the way up, just like we're on our hands and knees. And then you can go the other way. Notice that my knee is super bent, like I'm squeezing super hard. So sometimes you can put a cloth there, you can put a tennis ball there. I'll get the other side. Abduction, internal rotation, keep the knee bent to extension. Flexion, abduction, internal rotation. Go the other way. Good. All right, let's get knees, our knees. All right, so our knee controlled articular rotations. Bring one arm underneath that thigh. I'm going to just focus on tibial external and internal rotation to start. So here's internal rotation, external rotation. In, out, in, and out. Okay. Now your thigh shouldn't be moving here, just your tibia. Okay. From here, extend the knee about 3/4 up, turn it in, internal rotation, flex down, out, up, in, down, out, up, in, down, in, up, out, and down, in, and up, out, and down. One more, in and up, out, and down. While we're here, hold on to the shin, point the toe. This is plantar flexion. In and up, dorsiflexion. Out and down, plantar flexion. And just follow that circle. Trying to find its outermost range right here. It's a little limited for me. I can feel a little bit more sensation in there. Now I'm going to go the other way. You can also put an ankle weight around your foot while you're doing this to turn them into level 2 cars for the ankle. So just adding a little bit of weight. You can also do this with a band around the foot while you're doing this in multi directions. All right, now for the kneecap on that same side, I'm just going to relax the leg and I'm going to push that kneecap up and down. Okay, up and down. Should move, shouldn't have any pain. Side to side. And then cross diagonal. And then push it in a full rotation or a circle. So this is a kneecap controlled articular rotation. The only controlled articular rotation that we do, like I always say, with our whole body relaxed. Okay, so I'm not tensing anything. Whereas the other controlled articular rotation, say for my knee or my elbow, my shoulder, my whole body needs to be 30% engaged. Okay, so I'm not just sitting there pushing it through like I'm doing here. Now, if I have pain, let's just say I push it in and I feel pain on the inside. Now that would be something where I would push to the inside right before the pain and I would want to hold that position. Okay, so that's how you would begin to add therapy if you had kneecap issues. Now, we'll get into the knees a little bit more after we finish this side, but so we're going to turn into this other side, internal and external tibial rotation to start, just like that. Out, up, in, down. Out, up, in, down. Out, up, in, down, in and up, out and down. In and up, out and down. In and up, out and down. Same-sided foot, plantar flexion. Out, up, in, and down. All the way around. Really trying to find its full range of motion here. Going into those tough areas and making sure that you go all the way around the other way. About 2 to 3 rotations each way. And remember that your ankles, your wrists, your elbows, and your shoulders, those are things you can do all day long, right? If you have shoes on, you can still do your toe cards. You want to do it through your shoes. But these are things that you can do all day long, okay? And this is going to help improve your movement and anything else that you do. So side to side patella, up and down patella, diagonal, and then full rotational, okay? Again, there shouldn't be pain here. If there's pain, comment below. Let me know what's going on. If you feel that crunching going on, that's normal as well. But you should have full ability to rotate that kneecap in a 360-degree fashion. Now, if there's inflammation or pain, again, I'll just go around the pain, go to where there isn't pain, but do what you can until you get to this point. All right. So now for our knees, we're going to work on those just a little bit more. We're going to do external, internal, low pals and rails. So we're going to go into internal rotation of the tibia. I'm going to hold on to the outside of the foot with the opposite arm. With the IPSY or same-sided hand, I'm going to reach under and hold on to the opposite forearm. From here, I'm going to hold this stretch. So I'm holding outside bottom of the foot. I'm holding the ankle here in internal rotation of the tibia on this side, okay? I'm going to stretch this passively for 1 to 2 minutes. And then I'm going to start my pals contraction, which will be pushing the foot into the hand into the foot. It won't go anywhere. It'll be an isometric contraction, 0 to 100%. And then my rails contraction will be to go further into internal rotation and try to hover away from my hand. And then I go back to my passive stretch. So I'm going to do that nice and quick for you. Hold here. I'm going to start beginning my pals contraction, pressing my hand into my foot, foot into my hand. 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, and hold here. Press the hand into the foot, foot into the hand, hold. 5, 4, 3, 2. Now internally rotate the foot further in. 5, 4, as much as you can. 3, 2, and 1. And then go back to your passive stretch. That's going to get the outside of the knee here. Good tender outside of the knee. Lateral portion here. Then you might want to work on this stretch. Now, for a lot of people, it's medial, MCL, right? So what we're going to do is be careful on this side. So we're going to take the IPSY side, same-sided hand is going to go across the inside of the bottom of the foot here. Then I'm going to take this opposite hand, go underneath and hold onto the forearm. And then my foot is facing out. So now I'm in an external rotation of the tibia. Okay, and so this is what's stretching right here in the middle of the knee joint here. Now you got to be careful here. You can't just yank this and pull this off. You can really hurt yourself. So I'm going to passively stretch, hold and breathe. Again, you want to go for about 1 to 2 minutes if you're really trying to take care of things, but for demonstration purposes, I'm going to go a little bit faster. Okay, I'm going to hold this a little bit longer. Inhale 4, exhale 8. And I'm going to start my pals contraction, pushing the hand into the foot, foot into the hand, 0 to 100%, or 0 to 50. So 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50% effort. Pressing the hand to the foot, foot to the hand, 5, 4, 3, 2. Now try to lift away from the hand, turning the foot out, external rotation, 5, 4, 3, keep that leg tight, 2 and 1, and then go into your newly acquired range for your new passive stretch. Now for me, I've had knee surgery, so this has been a game breaker. This has really helped me take care of this knee and really improve the health of this knee joint. So just doing this now, I've come a long way because I used to do this and I used to get tons of pain. It would hurt. I felt like it was really weak. Now it feels very strong. It feels very resilient. So the more that you add these forces in these end ranges, the stronger it's going to be in those end ranges, which will mitigate injury. That's the point of these exercises. Let's get the other side. Start with external tibial rotation. internal tibial rotation. Opposite hand grabs the bottom of the foot. Bring the same side hand here around the forearm, stretching. What are we in? If the foot's going in, it's in internal rotation. Tibial knee rotation here. Stretch and breathe. Okay, now I'm going to press the back of the hand or the hand into the foot into the hand, 0 to 50%, from 0 to 10%. Remember, this whole time, everything's contracting. Pals and rouse contraction, everything, muscle recruitment is super vital here. So 0 to 10%, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50 of your safest contraction, foot to the hand to the foot. 5, 4, 3, 2, and go deeper into internal rotation of the foot. 5, 4, 3, 2, and your passive stretch. Always take time in your passive. All right, switch. Okay, now we're getting the medial, external tibial rotation. And same sided hand is going underneath the top of the foot. Opposite hand is going underneath the forearm. Stretching here, I'm in external tibial rotation. Feeling this stretch right here, medial side of the knee. Breathe, inhale 4, exhale 8. If you want to pause it and hold for 2 minutes, it's fine. From here, I'm going to press the hand to the foot, foot to the hand, 0 to 50%, 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 5, 4, 3, 2. Now foot goes out, deeper into external rotation. 5, 4, 3, 2, and passive stretch. Lots of stuff going on there for me. All right, so after I do the knee pals and rails, I always end up going through real quick cars, ankle cars, knee cars right after. You don't have to go them as fast as this, but I tend to kind of go through them a little bit quicker after the pals and rails just to save my work. So that's what people will call it. They call it saving your work. All right, and now we're going to get to toes. All right, so we're going to bring all 10 toes up off the ground. I'm going to try to separate the toes. That's called abduction. I'm going to do the same thing with my fingers here. You can't see my toes. So toes are off the ground. Notice I got the outside of my toe, or outside of my feet are on the ground here and the heel. I'm not going like this, and I'm not going like that, okay? All 10 toes off the ground. Notice that this toe is not as high as this toe. So you're always going to have one side that's better. So one side is going to be the leader, one side is going to be the follower. So you're trying to get this side to look like this side. So you know that this side can eventually look like this side. So this side could probably be even better. All right, so abducting the toes, trying to keep everything up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, not just the big toe up. Notice the big difference between this toe and this toe. It's a lot more going on my left side and my right side. Broke my right leg, had right knee surgery, so I probably had to compensate more on this left side. Could be a ton of factors. Big toes up, switch, big toe down, small toes up. Now, if you can't do this actively yourself, then pull them up manually, okay? Use as much physical assistance until you don't need any assistance, okay? Now switch, big toes up, small toes down, pull it up if you need to. Use a support, passive support if you need to. You can also do the pals and rails from here. You can also do pals and rails from any stretch, okay? Switch, big toe down, small toes up. All toes up. We're going to piano the toes down from pinky to big toe. Ready? Pinky to big toe down. Switch. One more. Okay, now just the big toe is going to touch. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now if you are trying to fix that toe, like I'm trying to do, what you want to do is just take your hand underneath it like this and stretch that toe out. Just bring the hand underneath just like this, pull it up just like that. So I'm in the extension of the knee or the toe here, okay? What I'm going to do is stretch passively, and then same thing like all my PALS and rails. I'm going to slowly go from 0 to 100%, pressing that toe into the hand into the toe, and then trying to lift the toe off of the hand, going deeper into my extension would be my rails. Okay, so you can practice that with your toes as well. You can do that specifically for all your toes, okay, if you really want to. So you can work on your toes, really any joint that needs help, like your fingers. So for fingers, for example, bringing all 10 or all 5 fingers down, trying to create a circle with one of your fingers. Let's just say you broke your finger or something. You're trying to get more range of motion back or more feedback in there. All right, so now we're going to get the hips just a little bit now that we've finished up the entire body. All right, so we're going to get into our 90-90. And we'll start with internal rotation here. So typically we start facing this way. This time we're going to go and turn toward the back leg. Okay, so we're in internal rotation of our back leg, external rotation of our lead leg. So we're going to turn toward our back leg. Hips are at 90, knees are at 90, feet are dorsiflexed here. Okay, and what we're going to do is just turn back this way. I'm going to bring my opposite hand or the far-sided hand across the hips, and my other hand is just supporting myself like a kickstand. Now this would be option 1. Option 1 or 2 can also be bringing both hands behind. And then if you want more advanced, you don't use your hands as kickstands, you use your hands as radiation points, and you hold it stretch like this. I'm going to hold it right here. Okay, this works best for me. My hands kickstands in front and behind my trowel thigh, holding here. Now, if you're cramping up right here immediately, you need to come out of this position. You can just go like this and then go back into that position, okay? But you want to eventually get into this position and be able to hold this position, okay? So we're going to hold this and breathe. 0 to 2 minutes. You can pause if you want, okay? Then our PALS contraction is pressing the tissue that's being stretched into the ground. So we're pressing the knee, the foot, the thigh, everything into the ground. We're trying to contract this tissue from 0 to 100%, okay? Once we get to our 100% effort, we're going to then try to go deeper into internal rotation, which means our foot will go off the ground. Because if we're cranking into internal rotation, the foot goes off the ground. So that would be our rails contraction. Okay, so PALS contraction, pressing the whole back leg into the ground, 0 to 100%. Rails, trying to get the foot off the ground. Okay, now you can also do a passive range lift off. So watch, or a passive range hold. So I'm going to go into my passive range, internal rotation. So that's passive because I'm holding it, and then I'm going to turn it into active by letting go and seeing where it falls. Okay, but I'm going to try to hold it up as high as it'll go. Inhale, irradiate, and then let go. Let's try it 2 more times. Inhale, using this hand here as a kickstand. One more. Okay, so that would be internal rotation, passive range hold. Now, a lift off would be just lifting off just like that. So passive range lift off would be that. Passive range hold is going to be passive range and then trying to hold it. Okay, so that's the difference. So now we're going to transition to the other side. I'm going to open up this back foot, turn the foot out, then go into my bear position, and then transition to the other side. Okay, so now I'm in internal rotation of the back leg, external rotation of the lead leg, Again, I'm going to twist toward my back leg. I have more neurological tension here. It means I have less control and less mobility. So I'm going to turn into this position with my hands behind my body. This time, not up here. It's a little bit harder for me. So I'm going to go like this. I'm going to hold here, breathe, stretch. Inhale 4, exhale 8. Go ahead and pause it if you want to hold a little bit longer. I'm going to begin my pals contraction by pressing my knee and thigh and foot into the ground, 0 to 50%. And my rals contraction, be going further into internal rotation, bringing the foot off the ground. So let's go ahead and try that. Pals contraction, press the foot, knee, and hip into the ground, 10, 20%, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2. Now try to bring the back foot off the ground. Go deeper into internal rotation. Notice that I'm leaning forward. You don't have to lean forward. You can try to do it without leaning forward. And relax. So the more advanced you are, the less you lean forward. If you're advanced, you don't lean forward and this just goes up. I know. You can do it. Good for you. All right, so passive range, hold. I'm going to bring it up here, passive range. Inhale, let go, and then try to hold it. Ready? Inhale. Two more. One more. Woo. All right. Now we are going to try to get external rotation in the bear position. So we'll get into the bear position. Knees are at 90, holding on to the ankles here. Dorsiflex the feet here. So from here, we're using our elbows as a barrier. And that simply means that we're using it as our passive stretch device here. So we're stretching our thighs, our hips right here. You're going to feel this in our external rotation of the hips. And we're going to hold and breathe for 2 minutes. You can go ahead and pause it and come back. All right, so after 2 minutes, what we're going to do is start pressing the knees into the thighs, thighs into the knees from 0 to 100%. Go from 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60, 60 to 100. And once you hit 100, you shouldn't be able to hold it for more than 10 seconds. If you can, then you're not at 100%. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. And your rals contraction for this is try to pull the knees toward the ground, bring your hands together. Try to bring those knees to the ground for 10, actively as hard as you can. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax. And do your passive range stretch. So that would be external rotation of the hips, followed by, that was followed after the internal rotation. So a couple more here. If you're in the straddle position, you can hold this position just like this. And again, you can do those axial rotations from the hips. So an internal rotation, then external rotation. In and out. In and out. Okay. From here, we're going to bring our feet together and bring one leg in. This is called number 4. And with this, what we're going to do is just try to bring this heel off the ground as high as it'll go. Bring your hands forward, squeeze the fist, take a big inhale. Try to actively bring that knee down. Irradiate. Try to lift that heel up as high as it'll go. Two more. Inhale, radiate. One more. more. Lean forward. Inhale, radiate. Let's go ahead and switch. So this is working active hip flexion. Okay. Trying to get this knee to the ground. Actively pressing it down. Squeeze the fists. Engage the core. Take a big inhale. Up. We still got more range on this side. 2 more. Up. And 1 more. Up. Okay, so that would be active hip flexion in number 4. Okay, so butterfly, you can do the same thing that we did in bear, holding this position 2 minutes. Cowell's effort, pressing the elbows into the knees, knees to the elbow, 0 to 100%. Rouse contraction, knees to the ground. Okay, so that would be pals and rouse butterfly. Now you can do pals and rouse for ankle dorsiflexion if you're working on your ankles. So you get into this position, hold 2 minutes, chest is high, middle of the chest over the knee, leaning forward, knee over the toe. Stretch 0 to 2 minutes, pause. Pals contraction, 0 to 100%. Pressing the foot, midfoot into the ground. Rouse contraction, pulling the toe up toward the shin. So that would be pals and rouse for ankle dorsiflexion. If you want ankle plantar flexion, you do the same thing in the kneeling position. Your feet aren't going to go anywhere. They're already blocked. So pressing the toes into the ground for your pals, and your rails is trying to pull your toes up towards your glutes. Most likely, your toes are going to cramp up. So like right after that, you're probably going to want to go like this. Okay, and get all 10 toes on the ground. Okay, just like that. So that was ankle. We did knee pals and rouse. We did hip pals and rouse. Only thing we really didn't do was spinal pals and rouse, shoulder pals and rouse, and stuff like that. But I thought you got a good mix of things today. This was our morning mobility plus a little bit more, and really just prescribing you to the pals and rails you need to perform after your carb. So after you perform your controlled articular rotations, what you do is say, all right, well, I got some wrist issues. I can't get into full extension. I need to get into full extension and perform pals and rails, or I need to do more of the controlled articular rotations throughout the day. So only you are going to be able to decide what works best for you. Comment below, subscribe. Make sure you share this with somebody that needs a morning mobility routine. Remember, it's going to help them identify their weaknesses and strengths, and then also help them increase their range of motion and mitigate injury. Hope you all like this, and thanks for checking me out.